Good early evening and welcome to another edition of What I Miss. What I Miss is made possible by a generous grant from the Ben and Sylvia Gardner Foundation. Today is Wednesday, January 14th. Today I am drinking a cup of peppermint tea. Can be as good as a beer, I tell you. Drinking out of a Abraham Lincoln Cottage at the Soldiers Home. Highly recommend a visit if you haven't been. Okay, let's see. Last night, around 5 o'clock, a very disturbing report out of Capitol Hill near the Eastern Market Metro. A man was riding a bike and was stabbed. It's not clear if it was a juvenile or juveniles were involved, but at any rate, very disturbing to hear. In better news, we saw that the Baked and Wired that is coming to Mount Vernon Square at 440 K Street is going to have a liquor license. So on Twitter, somebody said baked, wired, and buzzed, and I support that. What else? Okay, the biggest news of the day. Now, of course, I'm not. What's the word? I'm not impartial for the biggest news of the day, but I think the biggest news of the day is word of J&G Tavern coming to the old El Menyo space and La Jolla Steakhouse for a hot second there, across the way from the Soldiers Home. J&G stands for Jackie and Gordon. These are the owners of Jackie's and Quarry House in Silver Spring, El Chucho in Columbia Heights, Bar Charlie. In other words, this is phenomenal news. Beer, burgers, bourbon, whiskey, a small kids menu, 16 draft beer lines. This is awesome. It's especially nice to get something of this quality on the eastern edge of Upshur Street as well. So we will certainly be following up on this story as construction progresses, and if all goes well, opening April. Okay, in fun photos, somebody tweeted me a hawk devouring a pigeon in Franklin Park downtown, which is always wild to see these birds of prey in action in the city. Well, interestingly, the Baked and Wire that I was talking about, that's actually going to be a new home for the Mount Vernon Square bicycle space. But later this morning, we learned that Bicycle Space is also opening another store in addition to that one in Ivy City at the super cool Hecht warehouse. That's where the Mom's Organic Market recently opened. That plan is for this summer, so that's great news if you live around Ivy City and Northeast. We got video, MPD released video of the McFadden's fight where a number of people were stabbed, very, very disturbing, in Foggy Bottom. That giant inflatable rat has been spotted, and it always agitates people one way or the other when it is. House porn, this week's house porn, beautiful home in Logan Circle. And I thought it was particularly funny because it mentions having two wine fridges, not just one, but two wine fridges. But in all seriousness, the house is sweet. Unintended consequences of this new anti-pop-up legislation. Very interesting. I hadn't thought about it. Guy who rents out one unit in his row house is going to redo his basement and wants to rent out his basement too, but the legislation would only allow two separate C of Os in one dwelling, something like that. It's interesting. I hadn't heard about that before, and as always, whenever we talk about pop-ups, it sparks an interesting discussion. Development, 13th and U Street Northwest. Tony T. Goodman tweeted on around 3:30 in the afternoon, a photo of the new temporary pharmacy space that's going up there, and a big 165 unit, 8-story apartment houses and retail. Rite Aid obviously will be coming back. Is coming. So get ready for some massive construction at 13th and U Street Northwest. In the final food news for the day, Republic Kolash. They started tweeting, and they are apparently very popular in Texas. I put some pictures up, spoke with or emailed with the owners, who seem really nice, and they're finalizing details. But the first pop-up is going to be in Bloomingdale in DC. So it looks really tasty. I'd never heard of these things before, but I look forward to getting a taste. And finally, Print Exchange Exhibit. This is with the Pleasant Plains Workshop folks. Is being hosted at Upshur Street Books on the other end of Upshur, the 800 block next to Petworth Citizen. They're having a reception on Friday, but it looks really cool if you're in the market for buying some posters too. You might want to stop by Upshur Street Books. So that's all we have for today. Hope you get home safe and Metro's on time. See you tomorrow.